This is DK and Shade from TacoYaki Anime.
Yo.
And we are back for episode 72 of Monthly Ketchup.
Yes, sir.
We will be talking about our upcoming thoughts on the spring season of 2021.
I'm not really sure how I feel about this season. There's one big name title, and then everything else is kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a weird hodgepodge of a season.
It really is. I mean, a lot of times seasons will be like, we'll see seasons and be like, oh, hey, this is going to be this sort of season, or this is going to be this sort of season, but this one just kind of just seems to be out of left field.
Like a sample platter.
Yeah. There's no real rhyme or reason to this season. It's just like, nope, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So, today, we have 24 shows to talk about.
Just a few.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago,
Story time, yay!
this little cold breeze rolled through the country and like froze over a couple of states. Yeah, we lost power for like a week and water for like a couple days, and when the power came back on, I didn't have any internet, so I couldn't go back to doing normal stuff. Mm-hmm. So I basically went back to the days like right after high school where you could use computers, but the internet wasn't really much of a thing. So I went back to my some design work, and in some of the videos, this background that's on the show now is something that I had built like a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And for the videos on YouTube, I had been putting this background there, but I never implemented it over to the live show. And then also the new pictures that are going to be coming up, it's also something that I had like halfway done. And while we were basically snowed in and stranded in the house, I just started working on the design I wanted to implement like 2-3 years ago. I didn't think to come back in here and like update the windows that we're in. So they're going to be off. But yeah, it's getting closer to like version 3.0 where it'll be the full design that I wanted to implement like 3 years ago.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. How did the storm go for you? Because it was terrible here.
I mean, we were out of power for probably about almost a day, I'd say, altogether. The thing is I live up north. Mm-hmm. You live down south.
Yeah.
Down south doesn't expect these things.
No, they're like
up north. We expect these things all the fucking time.
Yeah, y'all got like armadas of snow plows. Yep. I think we had like 2 or 3 of them. Yep. They had to use.
I mean, it was like by the time I was out getting candles and looking for other little things to get or do, I saw in the parking lot of a nearby Walmart a literal fleet of tree removal and electrical utility workers basically convening in order to get a game plan together on what areas they were going to be out fixing.
Wow.
And it was probably within a couple hours after that all the power came back on.
Yeah. Down here, they're like,
oh yeah, because you don't expect that.
They're like, hey guys, everybody's turning on the heat. We don't got enough stuff to give them heat. What should we do? Like,
yeah.
We gotta buy more. They're like, well, it costs $9,000 per unit. We don't have that money. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, do like some of the other states do. Like, borrow some of their electricity and send it through the grid. They're like, we're not connected to the other states like the other states are. I'm like, oh, well, everybody just freeze then.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard. That's kind of what I heard.
Yeah, it was horrible. But one good thing that came from it is this new crooked design, because I worked on it for like a day and a half, and then I got tired. There was nothing else to do. So
hey, I at least appreciate I see Helsing up there, so I appreciate
yes. Oh yes. So this was supposed to be slowly moving, and in post-production it will be. And in some of the other videos on the channel they are. But this basically is me, you, Segro, Bouquet, and Cyborg's top 10s.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow. I was well. I guess I'm not too surprised. I see My Hero Academia on there, and they're like, that's fairly recent. I'm like, well, no, I take that back because My Hero's been. This is season 5 coming up, so
Yeah.
it's been a little while.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. The first show we're going to be talking about is 86.
I know why you put this on your list, and it just didn't appeal to me. But I know why you put it on your list.
So why? My notes are in reverse order, so it's going to take me a bit to type it. But yeah. So my notes, the reason why I picked this show is I have no idea what this show is about, but it has fighting and the main lady looks strong.
I kind of thought that might have been the case. I honestly did. She reminded me of oh god, from Kill Agami.
Agami got killed?
Agami got killed. Yeah, Agami got killed. That's what she reminded me of. I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know. I was a little put off by the I think the animation of it though.
Okay. The synopsis for this one is a war without casualties. The Republic of San Magnolia has long been under attack from the neighboring Yadian Empire's army of unmanned drones known as the Legion. After years of painstaking research, the Republic finally developed autonomous drones of their own, turning the one-sided struggle into a war without casualties, or at least that's what the government claims. In truth, don't spoil it.
In truth, we're just going to come right out and say
it. In truth, there is no such thing as a bloodless war. Beyond the fortified walls protecting the 85 Republic territories lies non-existent 86th sector. The young men and women of this forsaken land are branded 86 and are stripped of their humanity. Pilot the unmanned weapons into battle.
I think it was the weapons that really. I was trying to remember exactly what it was. Like part of the other was the animation, I want to say, but the other thing is just like those weapons that they had. Looking at when I was looking at the actual video for it, it just, I don't know, it seemed weird to me.
Okay. I watched this a week ago, so I'm skipping through. And I didn't bring up anything.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, like, yeah.
This show
it's not necessarily bad. Like, okay, I just want to clarify. It's not necessarily bad animation. It just seems rather plain. Like the animation for the most part, as far as like the characters go and everything, very, very plain. Then you get to the mechs, and it's like they put all their budget into the mechs.
Okay.
And I'm like, I get that's where your focus is, but it almost feels like you're not doing it any sort of favors by putting that as your, what you're focused on. You know what I mean?
Okay. So this is done by A1 Pictures.
Which we all know does. Which is, again, I guess that's my other surprise, too, because they do really good things all around.
Yep.
And the fact that the animation for, like, the main part of what the anime is, other than the mechs and the fighting, seems rather dull and lackluster is quite surprising to me from them.
Yeah, they've done stuff like parts of the Fate series, Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I mean, Sword Art was like, that was from start to finish, even when whether they're in the real world or in the outside world, is like very nicely animated, and I don't know. I don't. It concerns me the fact that this is, again, the actual regular portions of it seem so dull, but and then it seems like almost like the actual mechs or CG.
That's usually the case nowadays. So my thing is all about if they can get the mix to blend in and not be super noticeable. There was one show that it was super, like the mechs were like super shiny, like
You see,
90s CG.
I'm not necessarily the best when it comes to that because I'm so nitpicky when it comes to CG, but to me, it's pretty noticeable. Like, there are a few instances where they're not as like shiny or standoutish, but for the most part, it just I don't know. I see it so much.
Let's see. How do I think this story will play out? Well, they kind of spoiled it, talking about there's this mystery 86th fact, like 86th district. So,
Well, I don't know about that because all they gave you was the fact that the 86 is a division that is basically in charge of killing, I guess. That's what I got from that.
Well, it says unmanned in quotes, so I'm guessing they aren't truly unmanned. They are piloted by people from the 86th.
Or they're saying it's unmanned as in the actual robots themselves are not manned, but they are actually being piloted remotely by an actual people. You know what I
mean? Okay.
That's why they go unmanned, because it's technically unmanned, but it's not quite unmanned because a man has to control it. It's not like it's because what did they say? The Republic finally developed autonomous drones of their own. Autonomous. It functions on its own.
So,
but these aren't autonomous. They're piloted remotely from other areas, or it could be completely wrong. It could be where it actually is the fact that the drones themselves are not are actually having to be, or they're piloted weapons. I don't know.
So it looks like the people who had the drones first, those are autonomous, and then the other people on the other side of the war finally made like remotely powered ones, like remotely piloted ones, to compete against the autonomous ones. Or they're both remotely powered. And
is it also very just a little bit disturbing the fact that in the very opening parts of it, the girl that we're following, right, who seems to be the main person because she's on the she's the main focus on the picture that you have here on the screen, but everyone else in her battalion or whatever, they're all like white or gray haired guys.
Yeah.
girls, it doesn't even matter. Everybody is like white or gray haired.
So maybe that's kind of like a like
I don't see anybody who has any color for like the first minute or yeah, almost like the first minute of this preview.
yeah, maybe it's some kind of trait, whether it's like a bloodline thing or it's just some random trait that pops up in certain people, and
I
maybe
don't know.
there's like some kind of like stigma against it, and all people who have that are put to the 86th district.
I don't know. It's weird. Maybe that's what I'm like. But see, then it also looks like later on, there's, I guess, maybe the other battalion. See, I don't know. This seems rather strange. Like, you have two factions warring against each other, and it almost seems to me like this is going to be a situation where the storyline's going to be there is no right or wrong person. Both are wrong in their own ways, but
Mm-hmm.
neither one of them, because the fact that blood has been spilled by both, are willing to look the other way for the other person, or to
Yeah.
be able to understand the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just going back a little bit through looking at this thing too. I really think that it is piloted, or not pilot, unmanned, but piloted remotely because
On both sides.
there's this well maybe not on both sides,
Okay.
but I know at least at one point it shows her with a screen of the battlefield with enemies and everything marked on them, and it looks like she's controlling things.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like maybe she's just overviewing the battle or something, but she's in a room by herself and she has a screen of like the entire battlefield with enemies and statistics and stuff like that popped on it.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah, maybe there again it seems pretty straightforward. Like it's going to be a situation where both sides are wrong, neither
Mm-hmm.
one is correct in what it is that they're thinking, but because it's a Romeo and or not necessarily Romeo and Juliet situation, but I'm going to say Romeo and Juliet situation because you have two feuding sides
Yeah.
and neither one of them is willing to come to the negotiation table or listen to the other one because they feel like they're right and the other person's wrong,
Yeah.
and it just keeps going back and forth.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm not interested in the mechs right now or in sci-fi things right now, but it doesn't seem interesting.
Good. Yeah. All right. The next show we're going to talk about is the number one show next season. My Hero Academia Season 5.
I don't know what else we could say about this, but other than what's been, just tell people go back and watch our previous reviews of the previous seasons, and
Yes.
just go back and watch them. Just there you go.
Just go to the channel,
Just
search
go to
My
channel,
Hero
search my
Academia,
hero.
and watch
All,
the
all,
list.
all the seasons will be there. We've talked about all of them. Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing we could necessarily talk about is just how the last episode of the last season ended, I guess.
I don't remember.
So the last part of the last season. So the last episode was with oh god, what's the fuck is his name? The flame dude. Endeavor.
Uh-huh.
That was the battle that Endeavor had where he, showed that he was willing to put himself basically sacrifice himself in order to protect people to be the number one hero.
Okay.
He had that giant battle, but the very end of that episode, after the credits rolled, I think, was Deku was sleeping, and he had a dream where he saw all the previous wielders of I'm trying to remember how to One for All.
Yeah.
Yeah, he saw all the previous wielders of One for All, and he saw All for One giving the original owner of One for All his power, I guess, in like a sort of like almost a flashbacky sort of way. But then at one point, the original owner turns to and looks at him and says, "Ah, so you're the newest."
Okay.
And then I guess he wakes up and the window to his dorm got blown out or something like that. And then you see him just standing there with like his power coursing through him essentially.
Oh.
You see Deku standing there with his power coursing through him. So I mean, I'm hoping what I guess in the general sense, what I'm thinking, what I'm hoping is that because things keep happening, and I understand there has to be conflict for Deku to be able to understand and learn more about his power in order to be able to use it. But it seems like we kind of diverged a little bit from him more or less focusing on that, I guess. And my hope is that he gets some sort of breakthrough in his ability and what he does and how he does it.
Okay.
Like something that All Might never really necessarily knew about or could do because he didn't understand the power. Because it seems to me like even though the power is the same, it's sort of different in its own way as well, depending upon who wields it.
Yeah.
So my thought is that I'm hoping Deku comes up to something that All Might never even considered.
Yeah, just the fact that he couldn't accept the power and use it normally will definitely lead to him finding out new things about the power.
I feel like at the end of that episode too, or maybe it was the episode before that, Deku or All Might said something to Deku, and it sort of gave him an idea about his power and how to use it differently. Like he wasn't his thought process. Like it's interesting to me because it's like it's the same power to each person, but the way your own thought process interacts with it makes it different slightly. Yeah. Like it changes it in its own way, and it's kind of interesting because that's really going back to something I'm currently doing, like Magic the Gathering. You can make a deck of the same cards, the same person, and give that deck like the way you play it. Even if you give it to somebody else, is different than the way they'll play it because their thought process, even though it's the same deck, the same rules, the same everything, you're gonna play it differently. And that's what interests me about Deku and his powers and everything, because that's again same way he's using it in a different manner that even All Might never even considered. Maybe one of the previous wielders of it had a similar idea of it, but even then it could be even slightly different than what they even considered how to use it.
Yeah.
So that to me is very interesting, and it makes me very curious to see how it will progress, I guess.
Yeah. I think right now they're kind of going to other characters and like building up like the new group of people that they've introduced. I'm curious like where else it'll go. They haven't really explored too much of the League of Villains. Like we know that there is one. We know some of the people that are in there, and there's been a few different things happening with them. But
well, I feel like we've gotten at least not necessarily as in depth as some of the other characters, but we've gotten some backstory on some of the League members. I know one of the ones I'd wanted to have some background information on was Twice, and we got some information on him and kind of the way he works and what's going on with him. So,
yeah,
like I mean, we're in season 5. I mean, at this point, I'm like season 5. we've established the baseline. We're well beyond that. We should be well into characters. I mean, story progression and character development should be key amongst everything at this point. We don't have to have like, I mean, I get they might introduce a few new characters, but even looking at the little trailer they had for it, even those characters seemed rather like I recognized them. I'm like, yeah, no, these are all the characters we've either been dealing with, or because it looks like Class A and Class B. It's like, yeah, we know these characters. They may introduce a few new ones, maybe some that haven't been as put in the spotlight as others, but I'm still thinking, I'm like, I don't see why we would have to go too far into that. This to me seems like let's put the focus back on Deku, and now that we know for sure All Might is definitely out of the picture, Endeavor is trying to manage his best in this, but even then, I mean, it took a lot out of him to take out that no move that he did at the last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, he barely scraped by, I feel like, on that. And if it wasn't for Hawk helping him at the end there, I'm not even sure he would have been able to make it.
Yeah.
So, to me, I'm really wanting to see, I guess, out of this season, I'm really wanting to see the focus shift back over to Deku, and let's see him gain more with his powers.
Yeah, one thing that I'm like, as far as having a strong hero, it's like in quick succession, it's like we've lost All Might as the number one, and then Endeavor is going through a lot of trouble right now, and like there's no real like they haven't been talking about who's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they did the lineup on that when they did the was it the billboard?
Oh yeah, that like council thing. Maybe.
Yeah. But see, because the fact that the last episode was focused solely on Endeavor and Hawk, who was a number 2, I honestly can't even remember who number 3 was. I know they mentioned it, I just can't remember.
So it's like I'm kind of like the before the villains were never united, so it seems like the hero structure could kind of stay maintained, and like each hero would be able to take care of anything that happened in their area. And now that the villains are starting to concentrate, it looks like they're just going after the number ones or causing issues, and the number one shows up, and like every number one's getting hurt one after the other, and eventually there's going to be this hero vacuum where there's no real strong heroes to take the number one spot. And I feel like Deku and Class B's like power level, like it'll take 3 or 4 of them to team up and take out the other team, when before, like, the number one adult, basically one of them could take over and kind of help. Like,
I don't know. I really don't. I think that's putting that's putting them back in like when we first. I think we got to get our mindsets away from the fact that yes, they are kids. Don't get me wrong, they are kids, but these are kids who have been through a lot. They have grown a lot.
yeah,
and I really feel like it's gonna get to a point where they're still they may be a little bit older than they are right now, but I feel like they're gonna be handling these things on their own.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I really feel like
I can see the gap closing, but I'm still worried about that little bit.
I mean, like I feel like if they went up against the league in general, yes, that would be a problem, because look how many adult heroes it took for them to go to the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also feel like with where they're at right now, like if they came up against a Nomu like they did from previously, they might be able to handle that on their own solidly. You know what I mean? And I think like because they have their temporary hero, licenses or whatever, I think they're going to be doing more heroic stuff on their own. And I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like they should.
This kind of reminds me of Naruto, where it's like,
well, I mean, come on.
Oh yeah,
it's a shonen show. It's gonna remind anyone of Naruto.
Yeah,
come on now.
Cause I'm like, it's like when basically Naruto graduated into being like one of the frontline fighters.
Yeah.
And it's like these guys, they got their temporary license, like they got their permit, but they're not fully there yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like I don't know, like when it's gonna like click over. Like I know it's coming up, like I don't know how soon, but it's like right now I'm just nervous because they haven't clicked over yet.
I believe you have a raid.
I
believe you have a raid, by the way.
Oh.
If you wanted to address that.
Hello.
Hello, all the people out there.
Genesis Games, welcome to the stream. It's our monthly anime podcast. But yeah, welcome everybody.
But either way, like I said, I think to me, I really want to see things being progressing, like really making those leaps and bounds. I think we're ready for that at this point. Like we've hinted at it. We've muddled around with it a little bit. The fact that he got to be able to do his 100%. Because of the girl and whatnot. I totally am down with that. It was an awesome set, but I'm like, at this point, let's get to that point. Let's work on that point. So,
yeah.
Either way, that's my feeling on it.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I think that there's good. I'm still worried about that small little gap, and then I feel like either something we're like right on the fence. Like something's gonna happen in the next season or two where they're either gonna get better or something's bad's gonna happen, and like it'll be kind of like the Dark Ages. It's like we're right there, and it's like nerve-wracking once you think about like who's plotting what and what's coming. But
I mean, all the players, all the evil players are still in rotation at this point. The only one we lost from last season was Overhaul. I mean, that was literally the only real villain that's no longer a issue at this point.
Yeah, and they're not teamed up together. They're kind of like, even though they're grouped together, they're still kind of bickering against each other.
Well, yeah, because they're villains. That's the MO. They're not going to get away from that trope in regards to villains and whatnot. Villains never really team up. They don't trust one another. Even the League, even with their uniformity that they have, who's to say that anyone in the League might just backstab the other person? You know what I mean?
Like the girl with the needle and Twice, like they were kind of with the plan, but then they're like, nah, we're gonna do something else.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that like helps me feel a bit okay. And then also Deku getting 100%. We're like, okay. It's like slowly leaning to where we're gonna be okay, but it's taking a while.
I mean, there's gonna be a great upheaval. Don't get me wrong. Something's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. But to me, I mean, I'm like, let's make sure we're heading in that direction at this point, because I feel like we keep going there and we're like pulling back, going there, pulling back, going there, pulling back. It's like, no, let's actually make it. Let's actually do what we need to do, and make this work, because I feel like it needs to get there at this point. We're 5 seasons in. If this was season 3, I go, okay, we're still learning, we're still growing. It's 5. This is 5th season.
Yeah.
This is serious game time now. Let's get away from let's move away from all of this. Oh, we're still kids and we're still having to No. You faced how many threats now at this point? No, stop it. You're like, I get it. Yes, you are kids, but we need to they've set the stage. The fact that Endeavor is having such a hard time doing what he is currently doing and handling what he's currently handling. It's like, you've set the stage. The gap is there. Let's fill the gap.
Yeah. Villains are somewhat cooperating. This is unprecedented. This has never happened before. We need to get back on track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
All right. So yeah, season 5, Bunking Out Here Academia. One of the best shows out there. Everybody should watch it.
For sure.
It is a perfect show to start when you are new to anime.
I mean, it's a decent show, I'd say, to start, but I don't know if I would say it's like it's definitely up there. And I don't know. I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea though.
Okay. Yeah, usually from the people that I know that are like not really into anime and they've seen a couple shows here and there, it's like they usually name really, really popular shows that everybody's known that are kind of old, and then they start naming shonen shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then it starts going into like different tastes. So,
for sure.
Yeah, so I'll say this is one of the best. One of the best, definitely. But yeah, that's it for this show. And yes, thank you again for Genesis Games for the raid. I hope everybody hangs around and checks out the rest of the mini shows we're going to be talking about. The next show we're going to be talking about is Dragon Goes House Hunting, or Dragon Ie wo Kao.
Was this you or me? I forget.
I think this is you.
No, this is you.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
I put it on a list a week ago.
I did not care for the looks of this at all.
Okay.
I really okay. So those out there, I am so ever so particular when it comes to, I love dragons. I absolutely love dragons, but I am so very particular when it comes to dragons because I feel like I want to make sure that like I feel like I just want something that does it justice. And I've never seen a piece of media other than, I will say, Dragon Maid was decent. Was definitely decent. But other than that, I've not found a piece of anime that I really feel like really did dragons justice.
Because usually dragons are the dumb evil creature that you kill.
The dumb evil creature that kills, and it's just ridiculous. So I'm just like, no. And this just seems like it's just making fun of that. To be completely honest, it just feels like we're just making fun of it. So to me, I'm like, no, I could pass on this one.
So I put this on my list because
yeah, I'm really curious for you on this regards.
Why is word wrap not turned on? There we go. I'm scrolling sideways.
Because this is definitely not this is definitely Is the ridiculous part of what you drew to this or whatnot?
This is a bad trailer, and that's basically all I wanted to say about it. Because it's like Dean, and it was in English too, which is like, what? So I was like, Demon Lord, Dragon, Ruler of the World, Friend or Foe, Fire and Water. I'm like, what is this show about? It was just yelling terms at me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
That's
I'm
exactly
like,
what I'm just like, I know.
I was like, what? So
just generally speaking, no.
yeah. No, the reason why I brought this up because this has a terrible trailer. And it's a fantasy show, which is not. The reason why I was like, why is it on my list is because it's not in one of the genres that I like automatically pick shows for. So I have no idea what to go on for this show. All I know is that the trailer was bad, and I need more information. So right now, this show is done by Signal MD, which they don't sound familiar.
No, I don't recognize them at all. They have to be new.
They worked on Fooly Cooley, the remake, Progressive. Uh, they did that one show where the girl, what is the show? Recovery of an MMO Junkie.
Yeah, I see that. Which really makes me question. Well, no, now I know exactly what tone they're going for on this, and I still don't like it. Because now I know exactly what tone. Okay, the MMO Junkie, that was decent in its own way because it did what it did. Okay, so totally understand that. You can't. No, you can't do that with dragons, and you're just being utterly ridiculous. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm backsliding here. Dragon Maid was ridiculous in its own way. It was. But it had its serious moments. There was great characterization in that anime. So much so that I am so looking forward to season 2 because I know it got announced. And I'm like, this is going to be amazing. I love this show. Characters are awesome, even though they're dragons, and they do change into their forms every now and then. They still mostly go into their human forms, so it doesn't take it away from that. This, you see the dragon there 90% of the time in the trailer, and it just looks just silly ridiculousness, which I get because that's what came from the MMO junkie one. So, yeah, I'm just no, totally no, just no, no, no.
The synopsis for this one goes: the story follows Letty, a dragon who is cast out of their family home after failing to live up to some dangerously high standards. Talk about relatable. And sets out to find a new place to live. But in this world full of magical creatures, elves, dwarves, and more, it's not too easy for a fearsome dragon. It's not too easy for a fearsome dragon. Get ready for the high stress world of real estate to collide with this comedy adventure. What?
You say fearsome dragon, and the picture has a dragon on its back like a kitten playing with a ball of yarn. No, just no. Generally speaking, no. Yeah, so that's no. I'm totally against this one.
Next show is Fumetsu no Anata E or To Your Eternity.
This one was from me, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh, you had this one too.
I had it on my list because.
So this is one that was supposed to come out a while back.
Yeah, we had talked about it before.
We had talked about this one before, and it looks absolutely amazing. Yes. Wherein, as you know, I was being very critical about the animation of '86. Like, I can tell the studio who did this one was very much detail oriented and really took their time in making every part of this look just beautiful.
Makes sense that you like it because it's done by Brainspace,
mm-hmm.
and they are the ones who did my book of Friends.
Yep. And they've done so many other ones too that have been really good too. Animation wise, yes. So animation wise, solid. Absolutely love the direction this is going in. I mean, even the looking at the trailer for this, and for those out there who's curious, you can look at any of the trailers on any chart. That's what we go by. But it just the way that they, at one point, I think it's about on 25 or 26, he's transforming, and the way he's transforming, I'm like, oh my god, because if this seems like this is like a werewolf situation almost. They don't necessarily say that, so I'm really curious as to where this is going to go, because there's a lot of open-ended, leaving up for interpretation on this one, but the way that he transforms really makes me think, like, that is about as realistic of if that was a werewolf, that's about as realistic of a werewolf transformation, and that's gotta hurt. Like, that looks painful. So yeah, no, this intrigued me and really made me curious and wanting to watch. I think this was like last year that this was supposed to come out. Early on last year, I think, or something. So it's been like a year in production. So I want to say it probably was because of COVID and everything that got delayed or whatever. But yeah, I just can't say enough about this. I will read the synopsis for this. So, synopsis for it is: a lonely boy wandering the Arctic regions of North America meets a wolf, and the two become fast friends, depending on each other to survive the harsh environment. But the boy has a history, and the wolf is more than meets the eye as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm 110% into this. Really wanting to see where this is going to go. So, yeah.
The show's finally getting its chance to air.
Yeah.
The next show we're going to be talking about is... I needed to add the English title to this one. Hige wo Satoru. Soshite Joshikose wo Hiro. Or, I don't know, they've changed the picture since a week ago.
This one was definitely yours.
I shaved the beard, then picked up a high school girl.
Oh, wait, no, was this one mine? This one might have been mine. Or was it both of ours? No, this one was mine. Okay.
So, just by looking at the current picture and the picture that I have on the show, you would think it would be mine.
You would totally think it would be yours. I totally forgot about this one because I made my list a week ago, so some of these I'm not 100% remembering that I picked and whatnot. This one just seemed interesting to me. It seems, I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes, because the synopsis for it is very... I definitely see where the drama is going to be in this one, and I don't know. Okay, anyway, let me get to the synopsis, because this is what originally got my attention for it. So, Yoshida was swiftly rejected by his crush of 5 years. On his way home after drinking his sorrows away, he saw a high school girl sitting on the street. "I'll let you do it with me, so let me stay. Don't even joke about something like that." And so the story of living with a high school girl Seiyu began. The slice-of-life romance story between a runaway high school girl and a 26-year-old salaryman ensues. I feel like, so it seems on the surface, just reading something like that, I'm like, okay, if this was any other thing but an anime, I would really question the moral ambiguity of this. in a lot of ways, because she's a high school girl. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
That's an age gap right there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I wouldn't think that there would be any sort of room for wiggle room as far as like where you would things that shouldn't happen kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems more like to me, just watching the trailer for it and that little bit that he had said for his response to it, seems like she has, like, there's a reason why she is not at home. There's a reason why she's saying she's living with him.
Okay.
And I feel like it's not just that she has some sort of feelings for him. I think it's because she has other problems, and I feel like during the course of this, we're going to find out what those are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take a considerable amount of time with him in order to figure out what exactly the problem is and what he can do to help solve it for her. And in that sense, he's going to kind of end up becoming, I guess, in a sense, her knight in shining armor,
Mm-hmm.
helping her with a problem that caused her to essentially run away from home.
Okay.
And I think from there, that might ensue some sort of, relationship as well. But I feel like it's going to be further down the line, to a point where she is now, an adult, able to make her own decisions, and their situation is just going to remain the way it is because, now she's basically been living with him anyways, and he helped her with a serious issue that she couldn't solve on her own. Like, I've seen animes in the past that do this sort of situation kind of thing, where there's like a heavy, heavy issue in regards to that, and it's very lighthearted on the surface, but it isn't until you get further into it that you realize exactly how serious it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel like this is going. So I know the keys for this one are drama and romance, but I feel like they're going to go heavy on the drama. Like, this is going to be like a really heavy, serious drama situation kind of going on here.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if this studio is well versed in drama of that type. They've done a lot of shows that have a big cast of like 4 or more main-ish characters. 2 of the shows they've done you've liked, which is the student council one.
Yeah, you're talking about. I was just looking at it.
High School Prodigies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
That
Overpowered one.
That had some bits of drama inside of it, I will say. And it wasn't like, heavy into it is like what I'm referring to, but I don't know. I feel like this is their aspect of going into that and seeing where it goes. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I'll give it a few episodes and see what happens, and I'll go from there. But
yeah, one of the other shows is Did Not Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life.
yeah,
So it's two
that one I didn't
isekais in the big year that Project 9 did shows that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I don't. They did one show that I've mentioned, but we haven't talked about a lot of their shows since 2019.
Yeah, I think 2019 was the last time we actually really talked about their shows. Well, like I said, we'll see. I'll give it a couple episodes. I'm kind of in the mood for a drama, so I'll see how well it goes. If it's not what I expect it to be, or if it turns out to be more awkward because it actually is like a romantic relationship between an underage girl and then an adult.
Yeah.
I'll probably leave it because I'm not into that sort of thing. But you know, we'll see how it goes.
All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is another show I didn't translate. Ijiranaide na Nagatoro-san. Or
Or
gotta switch screens. Don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. So
why did you pick this one?
yeah, why is this one on my list? This is on my list because I've talked about shows where the guy gets teased by a girl, which is there's one that was recent that was in college. Let's play something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Somebody wants to play, or yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's one that was in elementary school where it was much more innocent and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of that one. This
I
one,
always meant to look at the other one.
yeah. This one looks like it's not sweet at all. It looks like it may push things way too far. And I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I bring it up because it's one of the types of shows that I usually like. And I've talked about 2 of those shows on this podcast, so I'm not sure.
So
I'm worried about this one
because I always meant to watch the one we talked about, the one you mentioned before. Yeah. The so and so wants to play or something like that. Because I saw clips of that and I thought it was hilarious. I just never actually watched the anime itself. So going into this, for me, I looked at it and saw like watching. So immediately when I read the synopsis, I thought this was kind of that same situation. And then looking at the trailer for it, I'm like, certain points where like she looks very innocent looking, and then all of a sudden she has this crazed look in her eye, and I'm like, all right, you got me intrigued. I'll see how this goes. If maybe it might end up being something similar to the one who someone wants to play, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll actually get on the bandwagon on this one and give it a go, just to see. But if it ends up being like you said, depending upon how far they go, I might not go all the way with this one, but we'll see. I'll at least give it a try.
Yeah. This was done by Telecom Animation Film.
And I don't recognize that one either.
They worked on Tower of God. Lupin, Part 5. Lupin. Another Lupin.
Lots of Chain Chronicles.
Another Lupin. Another Lupin in 2015.
Another Lupin. And another Lupin.
Another Lupin in 2014. Wow. So they're one of the studios that really works on Lupin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other shows that we've talked about that isn't Lupin. All Out, but I think I just talked about that's a rugby show, and I didn't. If I even watched it, I've only watched the first episode. But yeah, basically, they just did Lupin and Tower of God.
Which hey, Tower of God was pretty good. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this one's gonna go.
Yeah, so it's like as far as animation quality and stuff like that, they have a stylistic and pretty decent style. The synopsis for this one is Nagatoro is a freshman in high school who loves teasing and torturing her older male classmate. What's her motivation and why does Senpai put up with her? Does Nagatoro just want to create misery for Senpai, or maybe she secretly likes him? That's basically the plot of every story like this. So yeah. It doesn't. That really doesn't give you a whole lot.
Yeah.
Change the names around, and you can put it as the synopsis of every show of this type. So my curiosity is what's different about this one. It may push the boundaries. It may go too far. That's what the trailer looks like. But yeah, we shall see. All right. The next show we're going to talk about is Isekai. Oh, season 2. Isekai Naoto Shokan Shoujo no Dore Majutsu, or How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, season 2.
You know, so I watched season 1, and the very first half of season 1 I enjoyed immensely. I thought it was really good. It had its quirks, but it was enough to give it a different feel than your typical than what you've come to expect from a lot of this. And it carried forward for a good I'd say almost 3/4 of it. The ending I question in a lot of ways. I don't necessarily know how I feel about that ending. But since I watched the first season all the way through, with skipping ahead on certain parts towards the end, because there are certain parts of that end I'm like, I don't need to be watching this. I don't need to be watching this. Okay, we're back to good stuff. Oh no, we went. Okay, no, skip ahead. So this is one of those, I guess, feels like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. I'm like, I kind of enjoyed the first season. I guess I'll go for the second, see what happens. But yeah, I guess I can't necessarily say a whole huge amount about it. It's a good series in general. The magic is really good. I really enjoyed the overall plot story, what was happening. It was a little cliche in certain areas, but in general, I think they did a really good job of fleshing out characters and the world in general. Here's an interesting little tidbit. I guess this is being done by a different studio.
That's what I was just about to look up.
Yep, it's done by a completely different studio. So, that's an interesting little tidbit of information. Yeah, I'm curious if they'll keep the same quality of animation that the other one did.
Yeah, so the first studio was Agiata, and they did stuff like Zaiketsu Zorori, which is one of those shows that we've never been able to watch because I don't think it comes on streaming services over here. The book, what is the Bookworm show?
Oh yeah, the Bookworm one.
Yeah, and Witch is that and then a bunch more of the Fox show. The new studio for the second season
has done the Dororo.
There to go. I'm still on the first. Tetsuka and then Okuruto.
Okay, yeah. No, either way, I mean, again, different studio. It is a dual studio doing this one. I don't know necessarily why, but because it doesn't really say. But either way, I'm curious to see what happens. I want to, if we could tone down the ecchi in this just a tiny little bit, just a tad, that would be amazing. And yeah, or if you're into ecchi, hey, if you're into ecchi and you're into fantasy, this is your show. Go watch the first season, see what you think, and then come back to the second one.
I just noticed that this season took over season 2 of Akashi Kashi.
Took over what?
Like the candy show. Where they all the
oh yeah. You're talking about the studio took over season 2 of the Candy Show. Yeah.
Is this the series? The studio just the season 2 takeover show?
Studio? I don't know. They did Dororo. That's not season 2. Back in 2019.
Yeah.
And looks like they did the quintessential quintuplets too. Season 1. Okay. But they didn't do season 2, which is weird. So they're kind of picking and choosing, it seems.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which ones they do and which ones they don't. But anyways, not a whole lot to say about it. I'm looking forward to seeing some actual story progression, character progression, and some I understand it has its etchy moments, but can we tone him down just a tiny bit? Show him using his grand magic, which wipes out huge giant armies. I love that shit. That's amazing. But let's tone down the rest of it.
Good. Yeah, I think I've only watched the first episode of this one, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Let me watch something else. But yeah, that's usually how shows go for me. The next show we're going to talk about is Itazura Guma no Gloomy.
This is all you.
So, just the picture, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Ray Ray has one of those bears. This is the Naughty Grizzly. It's a whole IP that I know that I think that they made these teddy bears and then turned it into a TV show. I kind of want to call Ray Ray, like have her bring the bear in, but I don't know if she knows where it is. But yeah. So why did I pick the show based on a teddy bear?
Yeah, why? I'm really concerned.
So the trailer, I feel like this dude needs some help. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it seems like this show is about a boy who had a teddy bear and he loved that teddy bear so dearly. And it got dirty and it got a little bit beat up. And his mom's like, you shouldn't keep this filthy thing. Let me throw this away. I'll get you a new one. And then she saw something somewhere and was like, that'll be perfect. And bought him a new teddy bear. And this new teddy bear was pink and it moved around like a real bear. And he notices that it grows too, like an actual animal.
Uh-huh.
And it becomes bigger than him. But he ignores all of that because he's been scarred by having his teddy bear thrown away. And because he doesn't want to say anything and get this teddy bear thrown away, and then he'll have no teddy bear. He just ignores all of the red flags.
The death flags, let's put it that way.
And he does something to the bear. And the bear's just like, it just slashes him.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, that's okay, bear. It's fine. And I'm like, what is this show going to be about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no intention of finding out. Because I just am like, I've seen some. You know what? We've both been around the block more than a few times, and seen some crazy, messed up shit. We're like, wait, how is this an anime? What the hell thought process did someone have to come up with and actually put production and money involved in this to actually make this into an anime? And I feel like this is 2021's version of, hey, we haven't had anything fucked up in a while. Here you go. And I'm like, you know what, 2021? I've been there, done that. I think I'll pass on that one. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I have no idea what this is. I was just like, what? I'm like, is nobody paying attention to this kid and this bear?
Apparently not.
I'm like, don't you ask where all these slash marks come from? Like, like this is gonna be a problem. Like somebody's gonna call Child Protective Services. So, yeah. So I just 100% morbid curiosity.
Oh, indeed looks like it will be. Considering one of the taglines on this, or the tags for this is horror. That's literally the first one I think they have on. Yeah, horror and slice of life. Those are not two things that should ever be in the same category. I'm sorry, but that's just no. That's a lot of no.
Yeah. So right now, AnyChart does not have a studio.
The studio doesn't even want to put its name to it.
I could. What is it? My anime list. There we go. They may have a trailer. It's like a month before the show starts, so they may not have a studio yet. No studio.
The studio is like, we don't even want to be involved in this. I don't know why the hell we made this. This is a lot of just no.
So there's no like hints of what type of show it might be, what the
tell you that right now.
Yeah. So yeah. 1 second. I need to.
Yeah. I can tell you right now that show's gonna be messed up.
Yeah. So the synopsis for this no studio show is Gloomy is an abandoned little bear who is rescued by Pity. Is Pity a person? Yes, Pity is the guy. Oh my god! Okay. At first he is cute and cuddly.
And Pity, wow.
At first he is cute and cuddly, but becomes more wild as he grows up. Since bears do not become attached to people like dogs by nature, Gloomy constantly attacks Pity, even though he is his owner.
Oh, it's just so much wrongness and so, yeah.
Oh my god, even the character design for Pity, he's bleeding.
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh yeah, that's the dude that's always bleeding. I'm like, what? What do you mean he's always bleeding? Every time I see him, he's bleeding. Isn't that a problem?
Nah.
Maybe he just bleeds all the time.
Maybe he's a bleeder. I don't know.
So yeah, very, very weird. It struck my attention and I just had to bring it up. The next show we're going to be talking about is Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. So, the reason why this is on my list.
I was about to say, this seems like not one you would go for typically.
Yes! The setting is a futuristic version of a setting that I'm not really a big fan of. I'm like, hey, it's kind of different. I try to give like shows in that setting a chance because I will have never come across Demon Slayer if I hadn't. There's a few shows way back in the day that I loved that I wouldn't have watched, like Samurai 7, which I think is also a futuristic kind of version of that, right? From what I remember, from like 10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So even though it is a futuristic version of my least favorite setting, the trailer is action packed and creepy. So I'm like, ooh.
I just don't know how I feel about this. I really don't.
So the studio who did this is Back in Rec, which I feel like we are coming across so many new studios.
Oh yeah, no, all the time.
Yeah, this is the only show that they have on record. So I'm wondering if it's like kind of like indie video games, where there's like indie animation studio.
The tags for this are historical and ensemble cast. That does nothing for me in that regard. I mean, you would look at it and you go, wait, isn't it supposed to be like action or gore, considering it looks, but historical and ensemble cast? That tells me any other category before that would be less so. So apparently the view, I don't know if it's going to be a situation of like what we saw in the trailer was all of the action sequences that are going to happen in the entire thing. Like one of those things where like you spoil a movie so bad it's spoiled for like the entire time because you just gave every good shot away from it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
This will definitely be a one episoder if I even get through that.
Yeah.
But from some of the characters that are in the other picture on like the description picture, like they look interesting. Like,
I mean, they do, and I don't know. I might pick this one up. I know it wasn't originally on my list, but I did look it over, and this was definitely one of those that I was flip-flopping on a little bit because I just didn't know if I would be as much into it because it just seems a little cliche on a lot of it too. So
yeah, it's like from what I see, the characters are like mixtures of like different tropes.
Yeah.
It's like you got the rich girl with the like long golden locks.
If she has that laugh, I'm done. If she has that laugh, I'm like, no, you've ruined it in time. Yeah. If she freaking has that laugh, I am done. I would stop the anime right then and there and be like,
nope.
And
even in the picture, she's almost doing it.
She is, which really makes me like, literally her hand is like 6 inches away from being able to do that. Like she had it. Yeah, no, nope.
Yeah.
I have watched way too much anime to have grown so jaded against that laugh because it happens in so many goddamn animes. I'm just like, if I see it, I just whatever point grade I would give to whatever anime I'm watching, and it immediately like halves it just because of the freaking laugh. So,
yeah, so you got the samurai girl next to her. For some reason, I feel like she should have long hair or a long ponytail.
Oh, the samurai girl?
Yeah.
She might have her hair up in a bun.
Yeah.
I see some sort of like what looks to be in the picture from Annie chart on the banner. It looks like there is something above her head that's probably holding hair down or something.
And then she looks like she's had like reverse blade, which is interesting. Kind of reminds me of Kenshin. Uh,
Very
the,
impractical, though.
the detective guy, he has the hair of like a really action-packed hero type of show, like that. Like,
Or he has the hair of somebody who hasn't been to the barber in a long time.
like everybody nowadays.
Who just said, fuck it, I ain't doing anything with it. I'm just done. No.
But yeah, it's like the really like the shows that every male in the show, like dudes have muscles on their chin, like Street Fighter. They got like muscles on their chins. They got the muscles right here, like that type of show where like everybody's hair is like just. It's like how do you give muscles to hair? They're like just make it real curly, and it's like he has that type of face. And then he's a detective, so I'm like, that's kind of like a weird mismatch. And then you got the other like pretty boy looking kind of guy, and he looks like he's up to something, but then he has an accordion.
I'm about to say, yeah, he's playing accordion, and I mean,
yeah, so like you can't really do much with him. Like you
oh
can't.
no, that means he's the bad guy. He's the evil. He's the evil that lies in wait with the accordion.
So yeah, just those four characters that are on that description page, like I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I went back and forth on this one a bit. I kind of wanted to see it, but I kept flip-flopping, and finally I was just like, you know what? If I saw it was on your list, I was like, I'll let him watch it and tell me what he thinks, if it's worth a go.
Okay. So the synopsis for the show is: the year is 1931. Prince Tokugawa, mixed that all up, Yoshinobu is 94 years old and holds. I'm like, he's already dead. And holds this absolute control over Japan. Remnants of the Meiji era's culture can be seen around the city, but scientific technology and Japanese esoteric cosmology. Oh, oh my God. Own me.
It almost says that too.
I know. Yeah, On Myoto are also developing, exuding a sense of modernity. Yet lurking behind the oh God, who wrote this? Yeah, lurking behind the glitz is Kuchigawa, a dissident group planning the annihilation of the prince. The prince is 94. Okay, why is he not the king yet?
The king's 120, so he's got a ways to wait.
Or maybe everybody lives to like 150 now those days. The assassination of the prince and effectively the fall of the regime. Tasked to extinguish these dissidents is Nue, the government's secret executioner group. Sawa Yukimura, who works for this organization, suffered from an early age at the hands of the Kuchinawa boss. Her entire family was murdered, and she dedicated her life to avenging their deaths.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was on the fence on this one. I'll totally admit. Let me know what you think about it.
Yeah, I feel like there's gonna be too much stuff going on, but we shall see. That's so weird. The prince is 94 years old. I'm gonna keep it. All right. The next show we're gonna be talking about.
Let me take a quick.
Oh, okay. Yes. And we shall be back.
Quick break.
Oh no.
What?
I turned it off.
Uh-oh.
I turned it off. There we go. I think.
There you go. Yep, you're on the right one.
Yeah.
Well, we moved forward.
And we're back. All right. Next show, we're going to be talking about you. A very, very title.
We both had this one on ours. Let me try this one for you to keep this. Let's see here. Kyokyo Shinka Shita Full Dive RPG ga Jinjitsu Yori mo Kosogi Datada. Ha! I probably butchered one or two things on that, but.
What if the ultimate fully immersive VR RPGs was a crappier game than reality itself?
So, why did you pick this one up? I'm curious, because this doesn't seem again in your wheelhouse.
So, all right. It says this looks crazy. Full dive RPG seems to be the opposite of SAO. The sister looks mean, the main guy sucks, and it's scary.
So for me, as per usual, the synopsis is what got me coming for this one. Because it definitely seemed to take a good turn from what you would normally expect. Synopsis for this one is the story follows a dull high school student named Hiroyuki when he is tricked into joining a full dive, fully immersive VR role-playing game. The game, Kawami Quest, literally Ultimate Quest, is promoted as more real than reality, with mind-blowing graphics, impressive NPC behavior, and even the scent of foliage and the sensation of wind blowing against your skin. Unfortunately, the game is already a virtual ghost town after being flooded with player complaints about the game is a little too realistic for its own good. Its quests are nearly impossible to clear since players have to be as physically fit to complete them as they would in the real life. Players feel actual pain when they get hit, and puncture wounds take days to heal. The only reward is the mere sense of accomplishment. It is the complete opposite of a casual pick-up and play game, but Hero vows to beat the more realistic and most stressful game ever.
This looks like it's a game for those people who are like, oh, y'all can't keep up? This is a real game for real gamers.
Hardcore gamers here. Here's what hardcore gaming is all about. Graphically, yes, it definitely looks really cool, I will say. And this is done by Studio Engi.
And they have done Wrestle in Another World.
Oh, and the Uzaki-chan
yes,
Tsubati.
Uzaki-chan wants to play.
Uzaki-chan wants to play.
So, with those two shows, it looks like this show is going to have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I would agree. I would totally agree with that. Yeah, no. I really feel like this is going to be really interesting. Because again, it's taking a known trope that we're all pretty familiar with and aware of in, kind of an isekai situation. And kind of turning it on its head a little bit.
Yeah, fully turning it on its head.
We're like, no, this is usually isekais. You go to another world because the reality sucks, and this is better because you get to do stuff and play around with and kind of be overpowered and da 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 da. This one's like, no. Real world ain't got nothing on this. We're more real than the real world. That's what this is all about.
They're like, you want to be a god in this game? You got to be a god in your world.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm interested. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. Are they going to end up going to that trope where eventually he is going to end up finding some hidden ability that he has and becoming, overpowered or whatever? Or is it really going to be the case of he's going to have to like grind, and I mean literally grind it out in order to get this going?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Or
Yeah.
or is it going to be a situation of oh god, what is that? The one fantasy anime that you really like, that has Aqua, the god of water, the goddess
Konosuba?
Konosuba. Or is this going to be Konosuba where it's so realistic they can't even leave the starter
That's
town
what I was gonna say.
because of how bad it is?
Nobody's even playing the game. They're just spending time in the world.
Yeah, they're in the starter town because they can't go any further.
Yeah. So I'm so curious because it looks like from the new picture, I guess all of these people are the same people are in the same picture. Uh, it looks like okay, in the new picture, one person looks like he's actually trying to play the game, and then everybody else just found something fun to do with the game.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So the labels for this one are action, comedy, and etchy. Etchy at least is on the tail end of that, so hopefully it's not going to be a great deal into that. But I imagine if this is the same people who did Uzuki-chan Wants to Play, I'm sure the etching moments are going to be just as tasteful as, like, they're there and you know them, but they're not going to be like over the top.
Yeah.
They're gonna be tasteful. Weird to say about etchy things, but hey.
Yeah. I actually look forward to seeing what in the world this show is going to be.
Yeah.
Like the other one that seems to be like, the one where the girl teases her. I'm like, what are y'all going to be doing with this like genre? Like, are y'all going to mess it up?
Yeah.
And this one, they're like, you go, they're like, you gonna see what we done? I'm like, oh, all right, what did you?
I done messed this one up, so
yeah, I'm like, let's see what y'all did. I'm already expecting it to be the crazy.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So, yeah. The next show I'm gonna be talking about is Mari Mashita Iramakun, season 2.
So, I watched the first season of this. I will say it's not necessarily my most favoritist. Maybe not necessarily my top 10. Close to that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decent series. I will give it that. It has its moments. Characters are great. Um, Storyline is probably where it's kind of lacking a little bit in. But it's not necessarily meant for that, I say. It's more character driven in a lot of ways. So this is the second season of Marimashita Iruma-kun. Suzuki Iruma, human and deeply non-aggressive, one day becomes the grandson of the great demon Sullivan. Doted on beyond belief, Iruma starts school where Grandpa serves as the chair and finds to his surprise that he enjoys life there with Asmodeus, Clara, and the rest of his demon classmates. But just when Iruma thought he'd fitted in, there's more trouble ahead. A ring begins to talk, and Iruma goes bad. Iruma's chaotic, demonic life at school continues. So, basically, the original story of this was this is a kid who does not know when he can't say no. Every time someone asks him,
Yeah,
he immediately agrees to it. His parents took a huge advantage of that and had him do like all the chores and all the just whatever, and basically sold him to the demon Sullivan so that way Sullivan could have a grandson because
and
he wanted to be a.
that was after they had him working on a lobster boat or a fish boat.
Yeah, that was all in the first episode of that one.
Yeah.
So basically, he becomes adopted, but he's still human. Um, he goes to school, which is a demon school, so everyone's a demon. And demons are notorious for eating humans. So he's fearful of his life every second of every day. But as time progresses, he kind of becomes more adjusted to things and kind of becomes a little bit complacent in what he's been doing.
Do they still sing the school anthem?
Yeah, they do every now and then.
Okay.
Every now and then. And it's happened once or twice. He's actually started singing along with it now. At least for one last. He's actually started singing along with it. There have been some suspicions about him being human, but the end of the very last episode, his grandfather goes into his bedroom to wake him for school or whatever, and basically his whole demeanor has completely changed. And now he almost feels like he has an actual demonic aura attached to him.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see what may have transpired. That's why they go that he goes bad. And I'm curious to see how that plays into things. Because the other part of that is too, and the only actual real plot point of this entire thing is that there is no demon lord. There is no king that resides above all else. But there have been prophecies in dealing with the demon king and when he would return and what he would look like or what he would do and whatnot. And a lot of what's been done or said kind of revolves around Iruma. So it's been vaguely hinted at essentially that he will be the next demon lord. So like I said, it's a lot of character development. All the characters have had their own, reasons for doing what they do, and it's interesting in its own way, I guess, in that regards. But I don't know. Like it's good. I will say that. I mean, I'll even put it above some of the other, ones we've talked about, as far as that goes. Like, but definitely above the isekai, the demon, how not to summon a demon lord or whatever. Um, it's definitely more than keeps my attention, and I say that it's definitely, if you're into some decent fantasy comedy, go for this one. I guess my only concern is this is done by Bandai Namco Pictures.
Yes, and I've been looking at the list of stuff that they've done. Everything that they do is super colorful.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they've taken over the Aikatsu series, which is a pretty girl series. And
Okay, so they did the original one. I was a little concerned because I thought this was one of the ones that you normally don't see on, like they don't stream their stuff except in Japan.
Yeah.
But I do see that they did the original one, and I was able to get that one off of Crunchyroll. So hopefully that remains the same.
Yes, and that case of not being able to get their shows is true with Aikatsu. It's true with the Zorori, the Fox show. But then some of the other shows, like those are actually available. So,
like I said, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's like they worked on part of Slime. So.
Only the first season, though, not the second season.
Yeah. So.
It's kind of strange.
And then there's this Roman fighter. That's another show that's airing. I believe. I actually don't know where it's going to be airing, but that's another show that seems like it's outside of their whole TV only broadcasting shows. And then Gintama. That's another widely available one too. So the studio is it's interesting.
Yeah.
They've been in shows for like a few years, but some of their IP, like half their IP, you can't get.
Yeah.
It's weird. But yeah, Yeah, I'm curious to hear like what happens more in that show. I do like the concept. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
Yep, it's definitely interesting for sure.
Then next we're gonna be talking about Mars Red.
I think this is all you on this one. Yep.
So this show.
Why did you pick this one?
Why?
I am really curious about that.
Why did I pick this one? My list says, scrolling up from the bottom. Looks pretty interesting. When was the last time we talked about a vampire show? Was that
the Seraph or whatever?
Yeah, Seraph. I think that was the last time we talked about a vampire show.
Yeah. Well,
now,
I mean, come on. Vampire shows, let's be real here. I mean, there was a time where like every season had at least 2 or 3 vampire shows on it.
Yeah.
For a regular basis.
Do you think Blood the Last Vampire started that whole thing?
Oh, even before Blood, there was still vampire shows, I think. I'm not going to say Blood started it, but because Blood the Last Vampire originally was a movie, it wasn't even a series.
Yeah. And then I guess the show that you mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the show.
What, the Seraph?
No, one of your favorite ones.
Oh, Hellsing.
Yeah, Hellsing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like every now and then.
That was an ongoing one. But again, it just seemed like, I don't know. I may be still burned out on vampire animes, I guess, for a little while still.
Yeah, there hasn't been like a really high caliber, like strictly vampire show.
Yeah, like, because they will throw in vampires, but only with like other monsters or characters as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it's on my list, is because this is just a strictly vampire show. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of curious, like, if it's one of those ones that's executed well, that's very interesting to check out and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it piqued my interest. The studio who did this one
is the same one who's doing the dragon one that I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
So that's already points against it for me.
Signal MD. They haven't done much, and nothing that looks like this tone. So
no. Which that really makes me concerned about how they're going to portray this.
Yeah. So, the synopsis goes: Mars Red takes place in 1923. A lot of shows are being done in the past this season. And vampires have existed for quite a while. But now the number of vampires is increasing, and a mysterious artificial blood source called Askra has appeared. The Japanese government, in turn, creates Code Zero, a unit within the army tasked with taking down vampiric forces. And what better way to track vampires than by using vampires? Created by Lieutenant General Nakajima, this unit has historically been in the business of information war, but has been reassigned to solve the vampire crisis. It's up to Code Zero and the S-Class vampire Death Fraught to investigate this increase and put a stop to it before society. Why is society crumbling if they have this new blood source?
Good question. Maybe it's because there are some vampires who don't want to use it.
That would make sense. Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of going along the same lines as, your typical vampire thing of like, every time a vampire bites another person, they usually have a chance of either turning them into a ghoul or another vampire, depending upon certain specifications. So then it becomes the question of how long until there's no more humans left for them to feed on.
And then the difference between a ghoul and a vampire is
Ghouls are mainly mindless, just undead creatures that have no willpower of their own. Their servitude is to the vampire who created them. So essentially, they become undead servants. Whereas a
And
vampire is their own person.
so is it more of something that a ghoul is something that a vampire controls, or does the ghoul have its own personality and everything?
Nope. Once you turn into a ghoul, you're essentially a mindless killing machine.
Okay.
Who's only real, who can only really necessarily end up in, even sometimes it's not even fully controlled, but like somewhat controlled by the vampire that created it, and that's it.
Okay, so that would make sense. That would make sense if they put ghouls into this situation. So it's like
It would.
somebody's trying to create an army of vampires, but then in the process creates tons of ghouls, and then there's these mindless things running around everywhere.
And that's why the unit was created. Well, it says the unit was created originally for information, not for business of information war, and has been reassigned to solve the vampire crisis.
Yeah, and then
if they're saying a vampire crisis, then that's the only thing I can think of is that too many vampires are being made.
Yeah, and then they're using vampires against vampires, which is interesting.
Well, that's essentially a Helsing thing.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, like, did they bring the vampires into the unit, or?
It seems like anyone in that unit is a vampire to begin with, so there's no. The unit was created from the vampires more than likely. Though how it is that they're keeping them, I don't know. It looks from the picture, maybe they're using, these are the vampires that have agreed to use the artificial blood, and therefore the government is fine with them. But the ones that they're tracking down are the ones that are refusing to use it and are just willy-nilly going around and drinking blood and creating more.
Yeah, and then also like the government was probably fine with it because they're also good at gathering information. So it's like, even though you're a vampire, which is like we're kind of about, but you are using the artificial blood, you're not causing problems, and you're really good at getting information. And then they're like, so hey, information guys, we have this problem, and we think you're the best guys for it. We're gonna change your whole group.
Yep, probably. I would imagine.
Okay. Cool. Well, so with the synopsis, I'm even more excited to see what's going to happen.
You have to let me know about it. This will be another one that I wasn't quite feeling this one.
All right. The next show we're going to talk about is Nomad Megalobox Season 2.
This is all you.
Oh my God!
Takes place 7 years after the first season. Time jump.
Man, this is one of those shows.
Did you ever finish the first season?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those shows that I was like all in 100%.
That's
super hype.
That's rarefied air that you've actually finished the season on this one.
Yeah. Like these are one of those, like, this is one of those shows that I was all in, watched every single episode, super duper hyped for. This is one of those shows that's kind of like a classic in the same way that Cowboy Bebop's classic. Like Cowboy Bebop's music was classic. Where it's like music that everybody knows, or music that's part of a certain type of culture. This show is one of those shows where they mix in hip hop, and I don't know exactly which artists are. I don't really know. Like, I don't know the artists' names, but I'm a fan of Japanese music, so it sounds really, really good. And I think it's one of those types of music that like crosses boundaries. Kind of like, what was the other one? The samurai show that was almost in the same.
Samurai Champloo?
Yes, it's like that. So I absolutely cannot wait to start this show. I am 100% all in, and I am. Ooh. Other than that, why is this show on my list? Well, I guess the things that I noticed from the trailer, before I noticed that it took place 7 years later. I was like, once he was named Mad Dog, and now he's named Nomad. I'm like, 100%. I'm like, what happened? Like, he won the championship, and then where do you go from there? And it's like, is he a has-been? Like, did that whole like boxing industry die down?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though that industry died down where you can make money through fights and everything, people had stuff integrated into their bodies. So I'm like, are they just still boxing just to box and still making money without like a it's like people it's like if the NFL collapsed, but then people still wanted to play football. And there's like all these little small groups of people playing football. Like I feel like maybe something like that happened. I have no idea. And then I was like, why does he look so run down? And that's because it's been 7 years. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. So absolutely 100% watch Megalobox Season 1. If you're into any kind of sports anime, if you're into a show that integrates really cool music into the show, if you're into any type of show that has this gritty old school feel, this is one of the shows for you. Yeah, if you're into Ashita no Joe, this is one of the like iterations of it. And I think when I talked about it before, I was like, me watching this show kind of makes me want to go back and watch that. Mm. And it's like, I do, but I'm doing too many things to go back. But yeah, it's like Ashita no Joe is one of those shows that's going to be in my backlog. And it's like one thing I really want to do is go back and watch like the origins of this to see if they call back to it, because them doing like they could do something that kind of like is like an homage to the original, and it'll just fly right over my head. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, that just seeing this picture again makes me happy. I'm like, oh my God, more Megalobox. So excited. All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is why didn't I translate these titles? Osanananjimi Gazetai Makenai Love Kame. Or mouse, please switch windows so I can. That's not the title. I'm just yelling at my mouse.
I was about to say.
There we go. Oh, they changed the picture again. I couldn't find it.
I was about to say.
Or the rom-com where the childhood friend won't lose. Why did I put this on the list?
You didn't.
You did.
This is another one of those where it's like, wait.
Well.
So this one for me. Let's go step by step on this. This is done by TacoYaki.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Why don't I know about this?
Yeah, which is why I'm really surprised it's not on your list, because TacoYaki has everything.
Everything I love in the world. Oh my God, the fishing show I talked about. Mm-hmm. Freaking the working out girls that I talked about. Got a cute fox girl.
Yep.
tons of cute girls doing cute things. The cheerleading show that I never did. I ever watch the cheerleading show?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Anyways, storyline for this one. Synopsis. My childhood friend, Shida Koro, seems to have feelings for me. She lives next door and is small and cute, with an outgoing character. She's the caring One-san type, this being one of her greatest strengths. But I already have my first love, the beautiful idol of our school, and the award-winning author, high school girl, Kachi Shirakusa. Thinking about it rationally, I should have no chance with her. But while walking home from school, she only talks to me with a smile, even. I might actually have a chance, don't you think? Or so I thought, but then I heard that Shirakosa already has a boyfriend, and my life took a turn for the worse. I want to die. Why is it not me? Even though she was my first love. As I was drowning in despair and desperation, Kotoa whispered, if it's that tough for you, then how about we get revenge? The best revenge ever, that is. So that kind of caught my attention. In the same sense as I was talking about before, with the possibility of the Hige Warasoro, is the same where this one. This is labeled as a comedy romance, but I feel like, and this may be putting the cart before the horse and everything on this, but I almost feel like, yeah, she says she has a boyfriend, but I almost feel like it's actually him and he's just not realizing it. Okay. Like she hasn't actually come out and said it to him, but it actually is him, and he's just completely oblivious to it because she never said anything.
And then the other girl's gonna come up with this.
The other girls are trying to, the other girl's trying to get him, so she's taking advantage of the fact that he's feeling like he's been rejected and is trying to, well, we can get back. We can get back. We can get back at her by you going out with me and showing how much good time you're having, and ignoring her, and then that's going to cause her. Yeah, I feel like the cycle is going to start on that one regards.
This hasn't gone well in the past.
Well, for what, the plot line or?
School days.
Mm-hmm. You are 100% correct in that one there. Yep. Nope. 100%.
I'll help you get the girlfriend by pretending to be your girl.
And then what was it? Tiger? Palm Top Tiger or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one too. That one too had another one where I was like, all right. But see, I watched that one, and to me, it was funny, it was interesting, and it kept my attention. So I don't know, maybe it's been long enough that I haven't watched a lot of these, that maybe I'm just now seeing some of these coming up, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Just like you seem to be giving a shot into something that's not in your current usual wheelhouse. It seems like I've switched over to your wheelhouse and you switched over to my wheelhouse.
Yeah. It is there. Yeah, experimental season.
Exactly.
Okay, so I as you were going over the synopsis, I went through the trailer. Yeah, this is one of those character introduction trailers where the scenes that actually weren't like just the character standing on screen with their name next to them. I see, yes, this is Doga Kobo, like the animation looks cute, but just that alone, those small little clips in between the character introductions, I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. But now that I know the synopsis and I know that they're like, hey, it's Doga Kobo, I'm like, oh, man, I should have been in like months ago. So, yeah. And then I started going down the list of Doga Kobo shows, and I'm just starting getting more and more excited. So, yeah, I will be on. Like, I am on board for this. Like, I'm taking it off of your list and breaking off a piece for myself because Doga Kobo.
Yeah, that's a good enough reason as any, I suppose.
More shows to be excited about. Awesome. All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is Seijo no Marioku wa Bano des, or the Saint's magic's power is omnipotent.
Yes, this one was mine as well. This one is done by Diomedia?
Oh, we haven't talked about that in a long time.
Diomedia. Yeah, what did they do again?
We used to say their name a lot.
Did we?
Yeah, it was one of the comments. I think so.
It doesn't look like they've done a lot of stuff that, at least not that I've. I see a couple that you've watched, but not really a whole lot that I've watched.
Yeah. So Domestic Girlfriend, the basketball show.
Oh, they did do the one I like though. Is it the Problem Children Are Coming from Another World?
Yeah.
That was an older one. That was back in 2013.
Yeah, Girlish Number, which we've mentioned.
Media, I'm gonna call you out right now. Finish the freaking Problem Children Come from Another World. God damn it! Finish it. I want to see the end of that one.
Yeah, we talked about Girlish Number and Handa-kun back in the Cyborg and Bouquet days. Mayoiga. Yeah.
So synopsis for this one is: say a 20-year-old office worker is whisked away to a whole new world. Unfortunately for Say, the ritual that summoned her, meant to produce a saint who would banish the dark magic, brought 2 people over instead of 1, and everyone prefers the second girl over Say. But this is just fine by Say, who leaves the royal palace to set up a shop, making potions and cosmetics with her newfound magic. Business is booming, and this might not be much of not be such a bad life after all, as long as her supposed sainthood doesn't come back to haunt her. That's good timing on that. So this intrigues me. This is an isekai, obviously, going to another world. This is a female protagonist, which we don't typically get a whole lot of when it comes to isekais. And usually when we do, it's usually magical girls, which this does not look to be the case. Though they are calling her a saint, which, maybe that's just another look away for it, but...
Yeah, it's like a realistic magic.
Yeah.
It's like a profession that you study for and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I see where things may go awry, and I kind of like to see where this is heading. I love the fact that since everyone is so focused on the other girl who came, or actually, did they even say it was a girl, or it might have been a guy? They don't really say. Oh yeah, the second girl. Okay, so it is a girl. Since they're talking about that, I'm really curious to see if like her ability and what she can do, even though she's being pushed aside, was actually more beneficial or more would be the what people need in regards to that. You know what I mean? Because it does show at one point her giving someone one of her potions, and who looks badly wounded and pretty much heals right up from that. And yeah, I'm a little curious. I want to see where this is gonna go. I'd love to see some underdog stories and some come from behind kind of situations where she's gonna bring something together that will be the best for everyone. So I will say tags for this one are isekai, female protagonist, and josei, which, if anyone doesn't know what that is, its target demographic is adult females. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like the diagonal opposite of shonen.
Oh, gotcha. Didn't even realize that was the case. Which I just clicked on it, and one of the first animes that came up is one of the second anime of my all-time favorite animes, Usagi drop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess that kind of skews what I look for. So, in that regards, I feel no way one way or the other as far as how this is going to go. But I'm like I said, I'm curious to see and want to know what's going to happen.
Cool. All right. Let's see. We got a question in the chat.
Question?
Or a comment. Promise Neverland's a big disappointment. No! It kind of makes sense. Like,
see, and I never watched. I see. Yeah. I don't know. I started the first season of Promise Neverland. I didn't finish it, and I knew they had that second season going. I kind of heard some mixed things about it, and again, I'm just kind of like, maybe.
Yeah, from what I saw and where it's going, I could see that it could be a disappointment because it's kind of like what's the one Death Note where it was the two guys going after each other. One wins, and then the second half of the series is not as good. So I can like that's usually the trend when you build up this have a huge build up and then it ends and then you're like, oh, we have more. You're like, oh, there's more. It's not just happily ever after here. You're like, no, we got more. It's very rare that it just keeps going and gets even better.
Yeah. It's like we got more. Like, no, you shouldn't have had more.
Yeah.
You should have cut it where it was at. I'm sorry, but you should have cut it where it was at.
Yeah, and then we have Eternity was his most.
Yeah, that was the one that we talked about with the wolf.
Oh, that was the English name of it?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. That one's gonna be good. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, we're highly looking forward to that one. Definitely want to see where that one goes.
Cool. All right. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Setoin Hakenshimasu. The combatants will be dispatched.
Ah, I think like the next couple ones are mine, aren't they? I feel like that. So this one is done by JC Staff. So you know it's gonna look good.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're known for. That's what they do. Just going through there, and it's like, it's been a while since I looked at JC Staff's lineup, so I was just kind of briefly glancing over, more looking at what's coming out in 2021.
Yeah, they haven't done any index recently, so I'm kind of curious. Like, what did they do? Okay, so they're doing Dungeon, so that's what they've.
Yeah, that's currently
what answers that question.
Yeah, that's currently where they're at.
Waycross, that's their idol show.
And
yeah, Index and Dungeon.
So the
Food Wars.
Yeah, Food Wars as well.
And Konosuba. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the synopsis for this one is: it's tough being on the front lines for an evil organization, and nobody knows this better than Number 6, a combatant for the Kisaragi Secret Society, dispatched to a distant alien world on a reconnaissance mission. He's got a new android partner, but how are you supposed to plan an interstellar invasion of a fantasy world? See that? It was just all over the place.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Genres are we mixing?
Yeah, no, it is all over the place. We're going interstellar, we're going planetary invasion, and fantasy. And I'm like, all right, you know what? This is one of those situations where I almost defaulted to your normal and just looked at the trailer just to be like, okay, what are we dealing with here? And I liked what the look of the trailer had. It definitely seemed interesting to me. Character designs are pretty, standard. Nothing too big about it. The what is it? Main character seems kind of laid back, which I at least can appreciate. Not really wanting to do much in regards to that. And the comedy is definitely there. There's definitely those comedic sequences that you can even see in there that shows what's going on. So it more or less, I guess, it's just it piqued my curiosity because of how many you said, like we said, how many genres it seems to be kind of mixing together.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see exactly what's going to come of it. Is it actually going to be something decent? Is it actually going to be something good? Or is it just going to be so much of a mishmash that it's just like, what the hell is this?
I have so many questions. So I'm like, Interstellar. I'm like, is it spaceships? Like aliens? What kind of aliens? Is it like Star Wars aliens where some of them are humanoid? Is it just monsters? And then it's like fantasy. And I'm like, monsters. And then it's like an invasion. I'm like, oh, they're evil. That makes sense. Okay. So then I'm like, well, the manga shows a fully grown woman as the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, is she compact size for travel? Like what? What?
Are you talking about the one with the silver haired?
Oh, it's a different person. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a different person. His partner is the blonde.
So yeah, okay, yeah. There's
It's
been
it.
another show where like the person changed sizes, so I just assumed that was it.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like I said, it has such a mishmash of genres inside of it that it seems like I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Um, Almost reminds me of I guess in the sense of a mishmash of oh god, there's an anime came out a couple years back. I think the sequel's coming out here soon. Of a kid who came to an alien or came to another world with a bunch of other people trying to help save the world, and but he was like greatly underpowered. But then someone pushed him down a basically caused him to fall down in a pit in a dungeon, and he ended up surviving and becoming like uber powered because of the way he managed to survive.
Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of that because like in that one definitely a fantasy realm because it has like creatures that are very fantasy esque, but also like he ends up losing his arm, so he ends up making himself a like robotic metallic prosthetic essentially
Hmm.
that fully functions as its actual thing. But I look at it and go, it kind of seems very similar to, at least as far as the genres melds go, to
Okay.
something I'm considered as far as that goes. He even at one point I think during a battle ends up pulling out a chain gun, I guess,
Hmm.
and like mows down a bunch, or gives it to one of his subordinates and has them mow down a bunch of enemies. But either way, like I said, this is definitely one I will be giving some consideration to, just to see what it's all about, just to see if it's even any good. Um, and then I guess we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. For some reason, when you said genre melds, I don't know why, but I thought you were gonna say Galaxy Angel.
No.
And it's like that's one show from my past that I feel like I watched it. I don't know what it's about, but I know it's silly.
Oh God, yeah. Talk about blast from the past. That was first episode date aired in 2001.
Yeah,
God, 20 years ago.
yeah. So
It had good runs in that series though, because it lasted. Last episode aired September 29th on 2004, so it went
yeah,
for 3 years,
yeah.
a little
I
over
think I
3 years.
have it. I'm not sure. Or they recently re-released it, and I'm waiting for it to go on sale. But man, there's so many shows that they're re-releasing on Blu-ray that I want to get. Just watch. The backlog is strong.
Yeah.
All right.
Freaking gamer backlog has nothing on anime backlog.
Yeah, and it's like nowadays is like a good time to start attacking all of that.
True. Very true.
Yeah. All right. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Seven Nights Revolution. You know, Ketchup.
Another one from me. This is, I think, another dual one, if I'm not mistaken. Done by both Dometica and Linden Films.
Linden Films seems like it's the studio that does CG.
Yeah. Linden, we've dealt with before on a lot of things. Dometica, I've never heard from before. They really haven't done a whole lot, looks like. This is kind of their first real go at it, seems.
I never got a chance to watch Where's the Guy Picnic because the first episode on Funimation was busted.
Anyways, synopsis for this one is eons ago, valiant heroes fought against the forces of destruction. While their deeds passed into legend, the power of these heroes was later inherited by successors, who fought to protect the world. One day, Faria, a successor of the Seven Knights, saves an ordinary boy named Nemo from the forces of destruction. During the ensuing battle, Nemo summons the power of a hero and becomes his successor as well. However, Nemo's hero is a stranger that is unknown to history, and so an epic journey where the past and present collide begins. Why'd you have to name him Nemo? Is my only gripe, honestly. Nemo is, I think, a band name because you're either, if you're old enough to know it, you're going to think of Captain Ahab, or you're going to think of the fish.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. So, either way, I think Nemo needs to be not used in any sort of sense because that name just has too much connotation with it now. Beyond that,
it's like naming a character Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like...
I can't watch this show. Keep setting off my devices.
Or just, Sparrow on any sort of male character. It's just like, Captain?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this is definitely a fairly fantasy, straightforward-looking anime. I don't see a huge amount that I'm thinking is going to give me any sort of, like, this is different kind of vibes. But the trailer itself doesn't really have a huge amount involved with it either. So, but I mean, it looks interesting, I will say, and it's fantasy. It's my wheelhouse. That's what I go for. So I'm curious with a hero that is unknown to the other seven, if this is a sort of situation of shoot. There's that one anime from the God. There's the one where you get chosen as a hero, and they all meet together, and then all of a sudden it became like a murder mystery almost.
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like this might come. I don't know. I don't think it'll go down that route, but it has similarities between it where I'm like, maybe we'll see. So.
Yeah. Roga no Yusha, the Braves of the Six Flowers.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting that like at this point, mixing genres is like a normal thing to do.
About to say part of course now at this point.
Yeah, it's like the only way you can do that interesting is if you mix weird stuff together.
Well, I mean, it has to be something similar in sort of ways. Not exact, but enough to give that they can, because you can't just mix genres and just oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm gonna mix slice of life with horror. I cannot. I don't see where that's going to work, but you're welcome to try it. Mommy, the bear keeps trying to kill me. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's like, oh, so we're going typical horror here, huh? Is that what we're doing? Everyone ignores the fact that they could just leave or get rid of the thing and call it good. But yeah. I mean, again, like I said, it's nothing that I see. I don't have to necessarily have high expectations for this because it is again, it is sourced after a video game, which I've done enough of those to know that. Because there's so many animes that get adapted from video games that are fantasy. I've watched so many of them, or at least attempted to watch them, that I know that they're just usually not the greatest. Best I can hope for is that it's not the worst, I guess, either. And then I might continue it, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Right. The next show we're going to be talking about is Shaman King 2021.
See, I was never much of a fan of the original one. That's why I didn't put this one on there.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had seen the original one.
I did. Like, I didn't watch, like, a lot of it, but I did watch it.
I have not touched this series. Why did I put on this?
Again, another one out of your wheelhouse.
I had a question. At the beginning of the trailer, did he just shove a face into his chest? And then I guess, yeah, then the characters
he shoved a spirit into his chest.
Okay, cool. Then the characters look 90s style with the eyes that are over the hair. Yeah, because it's taken
Which from is why, yeah, I'm about to say that's where it came from. When did the original Shaman King first come out?
The manga TV finished in 2002, 2001.
Really, I thought it was even older than that.
Let's see if there's a manga. So for the one that's tied to the 2021 one, it says.
No, you're right. Oh wait. Oh no, okay. So the manga came out late 1990s.
Okay.
Till 2004. The anime that came from it was from 2001, so you're correct, till 2002. And it was 64 episodes. So if you're wanting to jump into this, be warned, it might be a lengthy one.
I wonder if there's a filler.
And there was another manga that came out from 2004 to 2005, and now this anime. So it's been since anything has actually been any sort of manga or anime. It's been like 16 years since the last thing came out for it. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. So comparing the two shows, I'm curious if it's going to be one of the cases where anime back in the day had plenty of time to flesh out characters, throw in extra stuff that didn't really need to be there, but it like helped the story a bit. And then compared to now, where they can tell a 26 episode story in 11 episodes and be super efficient and in how they go about showing you the story.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess, does it say how many episodes this one's going to have? Sometimes it does.
Yeah, sometimes it's like it'll say on what you call it, one of so and so airing in however long.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah, I don't see it though, so I don't know. We'll see, I guess. It may be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I watched the original one and just wasn't as impressed with it.
Okay. Yeah, the studio for this one is Studio Bridge, or just Bridge. They have done Muno no Nanana, which I think I saw the first episode of. They did this show that looks like it's a cult. I feel like we've talked about it. Um, they did the etchy part of another show. Fairy Tale 2004.
Mm-hmm.
2014. Nobuna Gun, which I think that was back in the cyborg days where we all Mitsudomoe. Huh. That was all over the place. I don't really know what to think about that.
Well, considering their first go at it was Mitsudomoe, I don't know what I think about either.
So, synopsis for this one is a new adaptation of the Shaman King manga. On a starry night, middle schooler Manta meets with Yo Asakura, a young shaman Shaman King, who has the ability to talk to spirits and also has the ability to let them possess him to use their powers. Yo has a heavy duty on his shoulders. He must become the Shaman King by winning the Shaman Fight, a tournament between the shamans that happens once every 500 years. Joined by his spirit medium fiance Ana Kyoyama, his personal samurai spirit Amidaru,
Mm-hmm.
and his and his other friends, Yo must face a larger evil. How a powerful man who aims to create a new world with only shamans becoming the Shaman King himself. This sounds so 90s.
Oh, it is literally dripping with 90s in it. It is oozing 90s.
It's like this is Yu Yu Hakusho, but with shamans. This is Flame of Recca, but with shamans.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, hardcore.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I guess when I watched it, I think it was coming out early 2000s. It just nothing in it really like spoke to me, honestly. But then again, at that point, I was like just in the I'd been devouring animes left and right, I think, at that point, so I probably was just burned out on that stereotypical 90s sort of anime.
Okay. I'm curious. Maybe this will give me to watch the original series. The next show we're going to be talking about is Slime. God, it's so long. Slime Power Shed 300 Nen Shiranai Uchi ni Level Max ni Natemashita. I've been. I can't. My thing's too small.
I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level.
Yeah.
Did you have this one on there? Or was it just me?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me.
So this is done by Revor Root. I don't even know that one.
Oh, another news name.
Yeah.
Babylon, which I never saw. Fully from the Alternative, which we never saw. I haven't seen anything from this studio. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I had it on my list because I liked the idea, but the trailer was a bit confusing. There was, it was so disjointed. It's like there was on-screen subtitled narration, and then it showed credits of people who worked on it, and then more narration. And I'm like, if you're gonna show credits, then the parts that are spoken don't show any words. Because it was confusing.
You just talk about the words that are in the center of the screen?
Yeah.
It's an interesting context in regards to an anime, I will say. I think that's where my whole thing was. So you get the idea of if someone, because she apparently can't die. She's an immortal.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, if you're going to go train, why bother putting yourself up against a potential hazard? Just go for the small fries and just keep grinding it out until you maxed everything out, essentially.
Yeah.
You can do that. I mean, it's going to take a while, but if time doesn't mean anything to you, why the hell not?
Yeah.
So, to me, it seems like an interesting idea and a smart idea. So, I'm down to see what this is all about. And despite being from a fairly new studio, the animation feels really good. It almost kind of reminds me of a little bit of just a little bit of the Tensai, the current isekai anime that's on this season,
Mm-hmm.
the Jobless whatever. It kind of reminds
Oh
me of.
yeah.
Well, there are parts that remind me a little bit about that. It's not as well defined as that one is, but it definitely has a definite feel for it, just in the same way. So, yeah. If this ends up just being a purely slice of life, I mean, I think I'd almost be down for it just to see what the hell it even means as far as, you know, her whole thing about maxing out her level and everything. Um, Synopsis for this one: an at-home comedy about a powerful girl who doesn't work too hard. After dying of overwork in the real world, I'm reincarnated as an immortal witch, and I spend 300 years enjoying a relaxing life. At some point, though, I end up at level 99. All those years spent killing slimes to make the money to pay the bills gave me a ton of experience points. Rumor of the level 99 witch spread, and soon I'm up to my ears in curious adventures, duelists, dragons, and even a monster girl calling me her mom. This isn't a dojo, so don't come here to fight me. I've never been an adventure, or I've never been on an adventure, but I'm the strongest in the world. What's going to happen to my relaxing life? So,
I am curious how the rumor starts.
I mean, honestly, it might even have been like someone made the comment about how easily she dispatches goblins, and she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I kill them pretty simple. I even get all this money from them and everything," and just pulls out like I'm sure some trickery involved a little bit, but she kind of seems like the character who would kind of spill the beans, not realizing she probably shouldn't say such a thing.
Yeah.
So
Living that hermit life.
yeah, exactly. Since
Okay.
she lives by herself and all that, people don't she doesn't realize that there are certain things she probably shouldn't be discussing, especially living in another world.
Yeah, especially also being 300 years old.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the lifespan for normal people is like 30 years because of the danger in the world.
I mean, it's entirely plausible.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
For sure. I think you top out the rest of this list now at this point. I think that was my last one.
All right.
So have at it.
All right. The home stretch. The next show we're going to be talking about is something very quick. SSS Dynazenon. Why? It's been a week.
Yeah, why on this one? It doesn't even have, well, I mean, you don't read the synopsis, but it doesn't even have one.
Yeah, it's like not available. This is done by...
Oh, God, it looks so bad.
Trigger. Okay. I think this is the one I was talking about where the CG's like super shiny and doesn't even match the show. Yep.
Hardcore.
So one of the studios is Graphinica, and they already got stuff for 2022 and stuff that's not even announced. Restage Hello World, Susume, Jenny Tyson. There we go. Love Live. Okay. And Helsing Ultimate.
Wait, they did Helsing Ultimate?
They worked on part of it, at least. And then most people know Trigger. Like Darling in the Franks. Oh, SSS Gridman. Oh, is this like a spin-off? Another giant robo show? Okay. Kiznaiver, Little Witch Academia, which is great, and Kill a Kill. Yeah, one of their first big hits. Yeah. So why did I pick this show? I say the trailer was pretty well done. It showed very interesting looking characters, and that makes perfect sense because that's what Trigger does.
Usually.
My note, the CG didn't really match the rest of the show, and the song was kind of loud. And then crazy situation, amazing silly situation, silly situation, which is also another Trigger thing. So, but yeah, Trigger's out with another show. I am gonna watch it because I like Trigger.
Yeah. Those mechs, you know me, CG. I'm like, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. I can't get over it.
Yeah. And I think in a lot of Trigger shows, there's mech. Let's see. The next show we're going to be talking about is Subarashi Ki Kono Sekai, the animation, or The World Ends With You, the animation. This is done by NA Animation and
Oh God, what is the animation on this? This is Venture Brothers animation. This is what this is. This is Venture Brothers animation.
They did Pokemon Generations, or worked on it, and they worked on another sports anime and Seven Nights. Yeah, not much. And then that was America, and then Shin Animation is Poo Poo Moicon. What the? Doraemon. So this is that's the name. That's the show. What's the name of the show where the girl teases the guy and it's really cute? Teasing Master Takagi-san. Yeah. They have points because they did that show. Yokai Apartment. That one show that you had watched.
Oh, the undead girl inside the apartment?
I think so.
One of our other studios did that one before.
Yeah. And Trickster, which you and Cyborg did not like.
Nope. You know what? See, that's what I said. They like their CG. They really like using their CG, and it sucks.
Yeah, and everything else is like super old and Doraemon and Crayon Shinchan. Okay. Why did I pick this show? I picked this show. Looks really stylized. Reminds me of Persona. It's a flat-looking style, but the scenes have depth. Very interesting. So I actually like the style.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
The synopsis for this show is Neku, which is not Nemo. Neku.
Good distinction. Good distinction.
Awakens in the middle of Shibuya's busting scramble cross with no memory of how he got there. Little does he know he's been transported to an alternate plane of existence known as Underground, UG. Now an unwilling participant in the mysterious Reapers game, Neku must partner up with a girl named Shiki in order to survive. Together they complete missions and defeat monsters known as Noise, another weird named monster, as they gradually encounter the true nature of this twisted game. There's only one way to stay alive in Shibuya. Trust your partner. Will they survive the Reapers game? Yes. Because that'll be the first show that kills off the main character.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. This just reminds me of any other, like...
I just don't see it. I really don't. I've tried really hard. I can't see this anime as being... It's so... See, you said before the other one was very 90s for you, and I'm just, like, thinking about it going... This one, the animation is so 90s. It's painful.
Mm-hmm. I don't... I need to see, like, an episode of this style. Like, seeing a trailer of this style, I'm like, this is fine. I gotta see, like, long stretches of this to see if it, like, gets to me. One thing that I'm curious about is how are they gonna twist the survival game? Like, what was the one that we had watched recently where, like, when people die, they bust into, like, cubes? Was it King's Game? No, it wasn't King's Game. It was...
I was about to say, I don't know which one you're talking about.
And then there was a dude in a bear suit, and he got hit by a car and died in the first episode.
See, I was like, I think of his panda from Jujutsu Kaisen, so I have no idea.
Yeah, he had a baseball bat, and it was a panda wearing a baseball gear and running around with a bat. It reminds me of, like, survival, like the last survival game that was good. Like, there was another one that had, like, this, like, albino girl with, like, red accents, and, like, they, like, sent him to, like, an island, like a prison island. Like, his whole class got killed, and then he got sent off to that island, and there was this mysterious white girl with red. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember the... I feel like
You're either saying something so old and ambiguous that I can't recall, or I've never seen it.
I feel like... So my stepdad really likes that show, and I got it for him for a birthday present. I cannot remember the name of that. But it's like the last survival games like survival game shows. It's like that one that I can't remember the name of. Then we got Batum. Then we have, I want to say it's called King's Game. It's probably called something else, but
I know King's Game. That wasn't. I mean, that's kind of a survival type game, but I still don't see it as.
Was that the bad show?
Yeah.
Okay, there was one that had a similar name, but it was better. Darwin's Game.
Oh, Darwin's Game. Never saw that one.
Oh, okay. So I was just talking about it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
See, so like you can't mention it. I was like going, no clue, still no clue. Nope, not a clue, still nothing.
I'm gonna ask Google real quick. Anime where got kids class is killed. No, I don't want to say all that. Never mind. I don't want that about Google search history. But yeah, so it's God. I want to say it's like some prison. Like I can't remember. But it's that show. It's Batum. It's Darwin's Game. It's Everybody Clap Your Hands.
Everybody clap your hands.
Yeah, Junie Tyson. It's that type of show. So I'm like, okay,
This could be the most excellent, stupendous, award-winning, action-packed, interstellar anime of all freaking time, and I'm still gonna look at it and go, why does it look like that? This is not the 90s. Fuck off. I can't. Nothing about the animation in this at all is appealing. It has the reverse effect on me, where I'm going, am I playing a video game, or is this an anime? If it's an anime, did I get time warped back into like the 90s? And I'm not even talking like late 90s. This is like mid 90s. This is a kid show. This is a freaking kids show. You could put Digimon Digital Monsters in the background, playing in the background of this, and I would totally believe it. Yeah, nothing about this at all screams to me yeah. And you know what? It would even have even a worse thing is if they're actually trying to be serious in this, like totally have a lot of like really not necessarily badass, but just like some deep hitting meaning or issues or something like that, and I'd be like, you're joking, right? I can't take anything that you're saying seriously. That's like if like Kermit the Frog tried to tell about the Holocaust or something. I'd be like, no, you're not doing it justice. No, this is wrong. All of it's wrong. It's all wrong. Anyways, no, this whole thing, I don't know. Yeah, I can't. I don't know why.
That's perfect. I can't.
I can't. Yeah.
Good. All right. The next show we're gonna be talking about is Super Club.
This is so you. It's not even funny. This, God, I didn't even look at your list when I was going over these, and it was like, yep, this is gonna be on his list. Mm-hmm. I didn't even look at the picture or read the synopsis. I saw club and went, yep, totally on him.
Today's series brought to you by Honda.
Oh shit!
This trailer was the slowest, and the slowest nothing happening commercial I have ever seen.
I didn't see it yet. Let me see.
Oh my
Go
god.
ahead. You can go ahead. Keep talking. I'm
Okay. Almost nothing happened.
There's a train. There's a train.
Yeah, there just is a train. That's it.
It was coming. Hey, I see a truck too. There's a truck moving.
And the truck just is.
Now we're in a bedroom.
And now there's a lot of Honda love.
Kitchen.
It's just the trailer was just setting.
She's making no. There's a girl. She's making a sandwich. She eating a sandwich. This is riveting stuff here. Now she's looking outside forlornly. Okay, got it. Yep. Excellent. She's riding a bike. This is important.
She's riding a Honda.
I didn't see no Honda on there. I just saw a bike.
Maybe she didn't get her Honda yet.
Okay. She seems bored in class. She sees somebody else riding a bike. This is riveting stuff, man. This is like great.
It is the most hype trailer of the season.
Oh, I see Honda. They're cleaning the bike. That's important.
Oh yeah.
Maintenance is super important.
Oh yeah. Honda will take that money away so quick if you got their stuff dirty.
Oh god, yeah. Gotta be clean. Now she's riding the Honda. Oh, she's giving it some gas. She got a helmet on, got the wind going through her hair. Not too fast though. Not too fast.
No. Can't speed.
No. And that was it. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Love it. Love everything about it. Best trailer. Totally. I'm sold. I don't know why I didn't think about it. Totally sold.
I'm going to go buy a Honda now.
I'm going to go buy a Honda. I'll buy 2 Hondas. What are you talking about?
Man.
So, why did you want to watch this one?
Oh, I just wanted to bring up
Honda.
Me watching the trailer for this show makes me feel like how you feel when I bring up judo camp.
Oh god.
Because I'm like, I could go off on judo camp. I'm like, oh, and then they got this tour, they got this, and they got that. And then this show, they're like, look, outside. And I'm like, cool. Look, inside. I'm like, cool. I'm like, look, you can ride a Honda. And I'm like, cool.
Okay.
What else? So, trailer over. I'm like,
maybe it's in the synopsis. Maybe all the good stuff's in the synopsis.
Yeah. So let's go to this gigantic.
There's a lot there. There's a lot going on. I mean, maybe the meat of the story. They didn't want to give everything away in the trailer. They didn't want to give everything away in the trailer. They want you to watch it and feel surprised when you see the Honda. So let's. What we got?
Oh, actually, who did this? What's the studio?
Okay.
Studio Honda.
Really?
No. Studio Kai. Oh my God, they did Oma Musume, Pretty Derby. Damn it! Now I gotta watch it. Phantasy Star Online 2.
No, they only did the second season of Uma Musume.
Oh, okay, so they've helped with the second one. And then Prince of Tennis.
Well, they had a Netflix series, so you know they're top quality.
Whoops. I need to get back to the synopsis. All right. Super Cub. The story centers around Koguma, a high school girl in Yamanashi. She has no parents, friends, or hobbies.
You know what? The trailer gave a great description of that. Then
I was like, what happened? And her daily life is empty. Oh my God! One day she came across Honda, and her life changed. One day, Koguma gets a used Honda Super Cub motorcycle. This is her first time going to school on a motorcycle, running out of gas, and hitting detours become a small source of adventure in Koguma's life. She is satisfied with this strange transformation, but her classmate Reiko ends up talking to her about how she also gets to school by motorcycle. One Super Cub begins to open up a lonely girl's world, introducing her to a new everyday life and friendship.
okay. I mean, I guess whatever, whatever works. I don't know.
This is an unusual main character. Like,
Yeah.
for her to be in high school with no parents, usually they're like live with your uncle, grandma, some other relative. Usually they don't like hermit life is usually like older characters.
Yeah.
So it's an unusual character to begin with. And then yeah, they become friends because of a Honda. So I actually have a Honda.
See, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. Oh, good Lord. Moving
Yeah.
on.
The next show we're going to be talking about is Vivi, Fluorite Eye Song. That. What is that?
Hey, fluorite. It sounds like something for teeth.
Is it fluoride?
I don't know.
Fluorite sounds like a crystal. Let's see. Why did I pick this up? This looks really good. I have no idea what's going on. It looks like an android got revived during a problematic time. Robo Teddy looks cool. It looks action packed. Busting arms thing was done by Ghost. Yeah. So, do you remember the one of the iconic scenes in Ghost in the Shell, the first movie?
Yep.
With the spider tank.
Yep, I know which one you're about to talk about.
Lifted off the thing and their arms tore apart.
Yep.
This show is not allowed to do that, and they tried, so I gave it a fail because it didn't do it better. But,
so yeah. This is Ghost in the Shell 0.5.
Yeah, man. So, who did this?
Wit.
Ooh, Wit. Now that they're done with
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see CG. I'm not a fan. I see CG.
Man, after Attack on Titan, they go to some weird places. Osama ranking looks creepy. Vampire in the Garden looks creepy. Totsuki no Shoujo looks creepy. Oh my god. Yeah, with studio, Attack on Titan studio, they did Sports Climbing Girls. And did they do Titans on a Train? when they weren't working on Attack on Titan. But Mahosuke no Yome. That really cool. What is? I need to finish that show. The Ancient Magus' Bride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I finished that show.
Yeah. And then Cabaneri Fortress, the Titans on a Train. Yeah, they did that show too. The synopsis for this is Nearland is a complex theme park managed entirely by AIs. Vivi is the first humanoid AI developed there, where she sings for attendees every day, following her directive to make everyone happy through songs. One day, an AI named Matsumoto appears before her, saying he comes from 100 years in the future, where the directive to work with Vivi.
With the directive.
Where the directive to work with Vivi to stop the war between humans and AI that is soon to become. That last sentence, so this is Ghost in the Shell Terminator.
Ghost in the Shell T2 Judgment Day. Ghost in the Shell T2 Judgment Day. Beware the teddy bear.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that teddy bear looks absolutely diabolical. I'll say that. Red eyes standing there in the midst of ruins. I mean, come on. You know he's up to no good.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, if you happen to take a fancy to it, you'll have to let me know because I'm not inclined for this one, but I guess if it's something worthwhile, I'll look into it.
Okay.
I just don't see it.
Alright. The next show and the last show we're going to be talking about.
Yay!
is Zombieland Saga Revenge. I absolutely fell in love with the first episode of the first season.
You know, I almost felt like you were going to go, I absolutely fell in love with the first season of this series, and then first episode of the first season. I'm like, yeah, that sounds better. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Man, if anything, even if you don't watch the rest of the show, just watch the first 5 minutes. Like, it is awesome. Yeah, this is a show that I really wanted to get back to, and now that they had a second season, I'm gonna want to get back to it even more. Watching this trailer, I felt like I got spoiled, but this is just a really interesting concept with interesting characters, and I want to watch more.
How would you get spoiled over this trailer? I don't understand. I don't even understand the trailer. It's just a character introduction.
So some of the characters joined the group, and they were like what is it when they're a sentient? One of them was a sentient zombie,
and
all the rest were just zombies. And then by the end of the episode, there were 2 sentient zombies, and you didn't know if the other ones were going to make it. And then now it's a whole team of sentient zombies. So I'm like, oh, okay, well then they made it. I don't have to worry anymore.
Well, yeah, but you don't know how they made it.
Yeah. So, and then I don't know if they're exactly the same characters. Maybe one didn't make it and they brought somebody new in. But
or they didn't make it and then they brought them back to life afterwards and go, okay, second try, go ahead.
One of my favorite things is they were doing a concert and like it's supposed to be an idol group, but like the zombies are screaming, roaring at people. So that some people are like, "Oh, this is death metal, yeah!" Rah! And then I guess because one person growled at the zombie, it took it as a threat and jumped off the stage and tried to eat him right in the middle of a concert. And like, there's one sentient person, and she's like, "Why am I just singing the song, thinking, why am I still here? This is the weirdest situation to be in." And all the other zombies like crawling around the stage, and the other ones are screaming, and somebody's getting eaten, and it's like, what am I doing here? So, yeah, I really, really like the first episode, so I need to get back to it. I don't know if I'm just gonna jump into season 2 and watch the first episode again and then just move on, but yeah, like this man, I really, really liked this show. It was fun. Why is this on my list? Other than all of that, Mappa has been around for 10 years. It is Mappa's 10-year anniversary.
I'm sure. I was about to say we know Studio's been here longer than that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Did I come across Mappa when the show was already started, or did I bring some of those memories back? Like Terror and Resonance, I think was Mappa's first show. And
what, that you watched or that they did?
The first show that I tied to Mappa. And I'm curious if
let's see, the first seasons of Mappa.
So yeah, I don't see Terror and Resonance. The first show that I see is your favorite show.
Yep.
Shingeki no Bahamut. That's 2014.
Wait, isn't it Zenkyo no Terror?
Is my page not loading right? It's supposed to be Zenkyo no Terror.
Yeah, it's in 2014. 2 over from Zenkyo no.
2 over? For some reason in 2014, I only see 2 shows.
I see 4.
Okay, I refreshed the page and I loaded. Okay.
Yeah, Zenkyo no Terror. That was probably one of the first shows that we talked. Well, so both Shingeki and Zenkyo were both 2 of the shows we talked about first from Mappa.
So 2012. When did we start the show? We started the show. Yeah, we started the show in 2014, like you said, with those. So yeah, so okay, here we go. So Zenkyo no Terror, Terror in Resonance is the first show that I tied to Mappa's name.
Mm-hmm.
They worked on Kids on a Slope, which is Sakamichi no Appalachia, and that was in 2012. And that was it's a very interesting show. There's like
Never saw it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting show. It's one of those shows. It basically started the trend, or really polished the trend of actually animating playing music. So
then no wonder why I never saw it.
Yeah, so like when they're hitting the drums, it's actually like got the motion blur, and they're actually like animating, like hitting the drums and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the shows that like completely stuck out of that season, and it was just amazing. So
tying this back into what you were talking about before.
Yeah, so it caught my eye, and I didn't know that it was by Mappa.
Oh, okay.
The first show that I actually knew that was by Mappa was Terror in Resonance, which is 2 years after they already started.
I mean, granted, but if you look at all the other shows they did in this 2-year span, none of those shows would have been either one of us would have watched, other than this one, the slope one, for you.
I played tennis in high school.
Okay, so nixing the 2 sports ones that I see there.
Yes.
None of these others 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 shows that they have here would have been ones that we would have been interested in watching at all.
Yeah.
That's why you wouldn't have really paid much attention to them until then.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of that they did TQ because
afterwards they did tons of series that we were, making comments on as far as, what we've seen from them.
Oh yeah.
And they continue to do so.
Yeah, it's like they hit their stride when they did Terror in Resonance.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, the fastest show I've ever tried to watch. You have to pause every single line to read it. It's ridiculous. I think I've talked about it in like one of the early episodes of the show. But yeah. So just 10 years Mappa. I was like excited. I was like, has it been 10 years? I'm like, have we been doing the show 10 years? No, we've been doing it 7, 6, something like that.
20 bazillion.
So yeah, I was just excited about that. And then Revenge. Zombieland Saga Revenge. I don't know where that's coming from.
The last line of the thing said "Revenge on their destiny."
Okay.
That's the only thing I say for Revenge.
Yeah, I'm just happy that there's more of this. I love that I saw the first episode. I need to catch up. So the synopsis for come on, mouse. The synopsis for this one is the second season of Zombieland Saga. From throughout the ages, a group of legendary girls have become zombie idols to save Saga Prefecture. It's the return of the cutting-edge zombie idol anime. One day, Minamoto Sakura lost her life in an unfortunate accident. Then 10 years later, after Sakura wakes up in a strange mansion, mysterious idol producer Tatsumi Kotaro tells her that she will be joining a group of legendary girls to form an idol unit. These 7 girls are charged with the quest to save the fading Saga Prefecture and adopt the group name Franchocho. After overcoming difficulties stemming from the different ages and different periods of history, these undead zombie bodies allow them to defy expectations of what idols can be. During the final winter of the Heisei era, they performed their first featured concert at Karatsu's Furusato Exhibition Hall, Arpino, taking another step towards becoming a legend. Now, in the modern Reiwa era, the curtain rises on a new chapter in the story of Franchocho as they march towards a bright future full of hope.
Okay.
I feel like Franchocho's a pun. It just sounds like a silly name. But yeah. I want to watch more of this.
Let's see if you can actually finish watching the first season.
Yeah. So, yeah. That is it for episode 72. We'll be back. In 3 weeks on the 28th. Hopefully no anime spills over to the 29th through the 31st.
Oh, for the end of season already? Good Lord.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll be talking about the shows that we have finished for this winter season of 2021. Yeah. I am so far behind. I don't even remember what's happening. I'm still recovering from December. But yeah. That is it for today. We'll be back in 3 weeks to talk about the end of the season. And yeah. As always, this is DK and Shade from TacoYaki Gaming, anime. And as always, thank y'all for watching. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for supporting the channel in any way that you do. And we will see y'all next time.